ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode, edition, whatever you want to call it, of The Morning Glory. My name is Eddie Law. For anyone that hasn't watched this show, it is not a religious show. In fact, I could possibly say a bunch of horrible shit. So, if you're expecting this to be any kind of Jesus praising or anything like that, jump off right now, because it's not anything like that. In fact, it's The Morning Glory, whatever's on my brain, dumped out onto the world of the internet and Periscope and YouTube when it actually makes it up there. Anyway, jeez, freaking weird morning. Anyway, so good morning to everybody in the West Coast. It's a little later in the East Coast, but good morning to you motherfuckers too. And anyone overseas, probably good evening. So, what do we got to talk to today about? What don't we have to talk today about? So yesterday on the afternoon dump, I was talking about possibility of Anderson Silva jumping onto face Daniel Cormier. We got that confirmed last night. Around the UFC, Dana White said they knew around 7:30 that it was a done deal. Everybody else was told during the RDA Alvarez card. That's when we were told on ESPN. Dana White went on there and revealed it with Brett Okamoto, and then of course Brian Stan and John Anik talked about it right after the card was over. For those that weren't watching ESPN, look. Here's the thing about it. So. Everyone's just like, Don Manos had it perfectly. My boy Don was talking about, it's like, that Anderson Silva jumping in to face Daniel Cormier in place of John Jones is like getting a hand job when you're expecting way more, but being okay with it. That's kind of what it is, right? So, which to me was the perfect way to explain the replacement of Anderson Silva. Look, there's no way around it. You can't control John Jones. And so, he's out. That's it. He's out, dude's gone. So you have to get someone in there to replace him to at least get DC paid. And Dana White basically said that it's just to get DC to get paid. But come on. One of the guys is considered the greatest of all time, replaced by the guy that everyone agrees is the greatest of all time. That's not bad. So Anderson Silva comes in here. He just had a gallbladder surgery not too long ago. He said it himself. He hasn't been training very hard, but that he's in shape and he's physically ready. So... who else didn't train very hard? But Michael Bisping took that fight against Luke Rockhold on 2 weeks' notice. Now we know Michael Bisping's always in shape, so it wasn't, his strength and conditioning was fine. It's just how to fight. Anderson Silva's got to be, 37 years old, 38? He's at that age where he's, he knows how to fight. There's nothing else he can learn really about fighting. It's at this point, it's all about, is he in shape? And if he is in shape, this should be a pretty decent fight. So yeah, Anderson Silva in for John Jones, taking on Daniel Cormier, a non-title bout. Something talented. People like Jones are crazy. Here's the thing about, what up, dude? Sometimes, yeah. Here's the thing about people like that. To be great at something, sometimes you got to be a little crazy. Michael Jordan was a little crazy. Okay, he's also kind of a douche. Kobe Bryant, little crazy. Who else are we talking on in football? Lawrence Taylor was a little crazy, right? Yeah, stuff like Peyton Manning's probably a little crazy. Like there's gotta be a little bit something mental about you when you're like great at something. Unfortunately for John Jones, his comes off as him thinking he's still a child. He can get away with everything, right? So it's not, it's not like a Michael Jordan who would get incredibly competitive and get pissed off if you beat him at golf and not pay his gambling debts sometimes and shit like that. Nothing like that. Nothing like Kobe Bryant, who would, be a loner on the team, not have any friends, and then, totally berate them on the court and off the court, when it made no sense. Irish footballer Roy Keane, crazy talented. Yeah, exactly. And we all remember that tennis player, and I hate that I can't remember his name, but that tennis player that you lose his fucking mind on the judges every time a point was against him. So, stuff like that. So John Jones is crazy and partly stupid. A lot of him has got to be stupidity. How do you just take a supplement that you don't recognize, you never use it for, just take it without, finding more about it? When Diego Sanchez goes on MMA Junkie Radio and says, yeah, we're responsible for our own well-being, we'll put in our own bodies, and he's your teammate, he's saying that shit. Come on, dude. So it's a rough one. If people blaming Greg Jackson for this, first of all, Greg Jackson's not a babysitter. He's not John Jones' dad or mother. John Jones is an adult Greg Jackson is a coach, and Greg Jackson is one of those guys that leaves it at that. You know what I mean? He's like, we're coaches, they're adults, they deal with it. You know, if they fuck up, they fuck up. Of course, if Jon Jones gone for 2 years, I don't know if Greg Jackson hangs on to him. You know what I mean? He probably will, but if he doesn't, if he goes, you know what, John, you got to go elsewhere, I wouldn't be surprised at all. However, Jon Jones' probation, I'm pretty sure keeps him in New Mexico. We're not allowed to travel or move, so for a while. If I'm not, you know, if I'm right about that. So anyway, Silva against Daniel Cormier. It's a weird matchup. It doesn't make sense, but you want to see it. You're okay with seeing it, right? And Silva comes off as a hero, coming to save the card, coming to save DC. You know, DC getting a payday and all that. Really glad to see that. So he's something I was actually pretty happy about. Miesha Tate and Amanda Nunes, the only legit title fight, this interim title fight, whatever. But Tate and Nunes is now the main event. Co-main event, Brock Lesnar against Mark Hunt. Third fight is going to be DC against Silva. And after them is going to be Jose Aldo versus Frankie Edgar. And then, of course, the very first fight on the main card is going to be Cain Velasquez versus Travis Brown. So, who would have ever thought that the one of the only fights that wasn't touched was Cain Velasquez versus Travis Brown? You know what I mean? On the main card anyway. You would think Cain would have popped the knee or something. Hopefully he doesn't. Hopefully he's 100% healthy, but that dude's just injury prone. Also, there's an episode 5 of Embedded is up on the UFC's YouTube. First of all, don't buy this bullshit from websites that goes, oh, you want to see Embedded 5? Go to our website. That's called clickbait. Okay. Now, people gave me shit before because they're like, oh, you put it on your website too. Yeah, after I tweet out the YouTube link. So I tweet out the YouTube link direct first, and then I put it on the website just in case someone goes to it and wants to see it. It's all good. You know what I mean? To me, that's how it's supposed to be. If you don't, look, sites that don't do that, sites that just throw it up, they're like, hey, this is the place to see that Embedded video. Okay. Hey, whatever you want to do, go for it. I'm just not going to do that. I'll put it up after I tweet out the original. So, if you go on the Embedded episode 5, around the 4 minutes, 13 second mark, you actually get to see the moment Dana White told Daniel Cormier about Jon Jones. And man, it's almost heartbreaking, man. Like, to see Daniel Cormier, he stomps his foot on the ground twice and starts like pretty much crying. You know what I mean? When you're a fighter and you put aside everything else, family, life, friends, everything else, to prepare for the fight of your life. You know, you put the money and you put the money that DC puts in for a camp, and you put, you know, everything else aside. You pause your life and everything. You put all that hard work just so you're, you know, just because you're and just so your opponent, you know, your pops hot for something, and you lose that payday. It's fucked up. You know what I mean? And Dana White explained this earlier, I think a couple days ago. Actually, no, he explained it right after the announcement. He said, look, we take care of our guys, or we'll compensate a fighter if they get paid less. You know, lesser paid fighters, we'll compensate them if their guy pulls out and we can't find him a fight. But DC gets paid a lot of money. So anything that the UFC would have given him probably wouldn't even have come close to what Daniel Cormier was going to make. The figure on what Jon Jones is going to make for this fight is around $9 million. All right, I'm assuming DC's going to make less than that, maybe like 5 or 6, but that's still $5 or $6 million. And to lose that is a devastating kind of, thing, because DC puts that work in for his family, and for his future. So it's nice to see that Silva jumped in there and helped them out and everything. As far as Jon Jones goes, like, see you in a couple years, dude. That's about it. And still, Nick Diaz got 5 years for weed. The fuck. Anyway, mind you, we haven't heard the results of the bead sample just yet. Everyone's assuming. Look, if you saw Jon Jones and Bucky Kawa's face during the and the way they were talking, if he dies, he dies. Exactly, Code. What up, dude? If you saw the press conference Jon Jones put up there to fake apologize to everybody, my opinion, fake apologize. Him and his manager pretty much know that shit's coming back positive. So there's not going to be, more than likely, there's not going to be much any difference on that B sample. So what are we expecting? More than likely, we're expecting a 2-year suspension brought on by USADA, meaning Jon Jones will be gone for 2 years. We'll have to wait till he's 30 years old to apply for reinstatement and come back and fight. And then we'll go from there. But 2 years, you're out of your prime, you're 30 years old, so it is what it is. Let's talk a little bit about the fights last night. I'll talk about the co-main and the main. Co-main was not at all what I thought it was going to be. At all. Like, not even a little bit. I mean, there was heavy hits. Look, it's hard to knock out Roy Nelson. And you know, Derek Lewis, who won the fight, was still upset he didn't knock him out. He got the decision win, but he was pissed off that he won the decision. He wanted to get the knockout win. And that comes from wanting that performance bonus, and he didn't get it. So, it sucks for him. And then what else was it? Oh, Roy Nelson had that big old bruise on his stomach. He fucked Roy up with punches. It was the big difference was this: Roy Nelson took Lewis down 7 times. Lewis hit him like significant strikes, over 50 strikes. All right, that's what won Derek Lewis the fight. The judges actually weighed those strikes way more than the 7 takedowns. So that's how it went down. Then the main event, did anybody see that shit coming? Alvarez rocks RDA real bad and just keeps him on fucking, you know, he keeps him on ice, just whooping his ass. You know, throws that insane flying knee that I'm pretty sure, I couldn't tell if it landed or not. I thought RDA kind of might have patted it a little bit. I think it probably still landed, but anyway. Basically beats the shit out of him to where RDA needed to get saved by the ref on his feet still. That was legit. Eddie Alvarez, I mean, if you've been watching this guy from Bellator and before that, he's won every belt you could find, or you could think of, basically. And now he's in the UFC. He's finally lightweight champ there. He's one of those guys that always claimed he was the best lightweight. And then he actually went to the UFC to prove it. Ben Askren always talks shit about, I'm the best welterweight in the world. Never went to the place with the best fighters. You know what I mean? Now, that's more than likely due to pay or whatever. I mean, maybe him and the UFC always had some bullshit, him and Dana White always had some bullshit between each other. But you know, he didn't prove it against the best welterweights in the world. So fuck that claim, basically, right? Michael Chandler, lightweight in Bellator, also claims he's the best lightweight in the world. Come prove it. Michael Venom Page, come prove it. You know, everyone that thinks that we can all agree the best fighters are in the UFC pretty easily, right? So come prove that you're the best. And Eddie Alvarez took the risk and showed up and proved that he's the best lightweight in the world. So congratulations, Eddie Alvarez. A lot of hard work went into that shit. He almost looked a little surprised that he won. Not gonna lie, but it's look, I don't care. It's awesome to see him win. Very happy for him. Wish him the best in the future. And you know, now we're looking at bouts against Khabib, possibly. Maybe Tony Ferguson, maybe, you know, a lot of lightweights. Lightweight is a stacked card. What else was there last night? I missed the prelims, basically. I caught on because I went to jiu-jitsu, and I caught back on during the Burchek fight, I want to say. I didn't go to jiu-jitsu, I went to strength and conditioning. I was so fucked up after lifting and working out that I couldn't make it to jiu-jitsu. I was gassed out. I was beat up, Jesus. But I caught on to the Burchek fight, and that was alright, but they took the last like 5 seconds off, just stared at each other, so it was weird. Alright, what's coming up this weekend? Tonight, the Ultimate Fighter 23 finale, and then of course Saturday, UFC 200. What else we got? That's all I can think of, really. So anyway, I have a feeling this Jon Jones thing's not over. We're gonna end up finding out more today, probably. Into the weekend and beyond that. I just waiting to see what USADA does as far as the suspension goes, whether or not it's going to be significant or not. So we'll end up finding out. Anyway, you guys have a good one. I got to go. Got to hit to work. Have a good day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody, and depending where you are. And I will catch you guys later. See ya.